They told us the tunnels under Diddy's mansion were just rumors, that the raid in 2024 was about money or maybe drugs. But what they didn't show you was what agents found beneath the master bedroom carpet: an iron hatch leading to 6 sealed rooms, biometric locks, and a ballroom 5 floors underground. And that ballroom, it wasn't empty, it was waiting. Some say the tunnels connected to the Playboy Mansion. Others say they go deeper, to places no one should ever find. I was hired to inspect them. I came back, changed. And if you're hearing this, don't go looking for it, because they're still performing down there, and the door remembers every name. I'm not going to use my real name for this, and I'm not going to tell you which company I work for, because technically I was never supposed to be there. But I can tell you this much. I'm a private contractor. Security retrofits, structural inspections. The kind of jobs where you don't ask too many questions and you don't post selfies in your hard hat. I've worked for politicians, billionaires, and people with enough money to make you sign 5 different NDAs before you even show up. This job was different. It came through a contact I hadn't heard from in over 4 years, an ex-FBI logistics liaison who now works independently, off the books. No formal email, no paperwork, just a text. LA, 3-day job, quiet access, bring your scanning gear, NDA on arrival. I replied with a question mark. He only responded with one word: Diddy. That was 3 days after the raids. The footage had already gone viral. Homeland Security storming the gates, drones over the pool, armored agents pulling out his sons like it was a cartel bust. I'd seen the clips just like everyone else, but what the news didn't show, what I was being brought in for, was what they found under the carpet in the master bedroom, the tunnel. I flew in the next morning. Black SUV picked me up at LAX. No logos, no plates. The guy driving didn't speak. He wore dark glasses and had a headset that wasn't connected to anything I could see. The silence was thick. We pulled up to the mansion just after sunset. From the outside, it didn't look like anything had happened. You'd expect yellow tape, forensic tents, maybe a few news vans lingering, but there was none of that. Just gardeners trimming hedges, like the place wasn't hiding something you'd only expect to see in some underground Cold War bunker. 2 men met me at the gate, one in a gray suit, the other in contractor gear. They didn't introduce themselves, just handed me a clipboard with an NDA thick enough to make my wrist hurt and told me to sign it. No questions, no photocopies, just sign. When I did, the man in the suit nodded. "You're not working for the FBI," he said. "They've seen what they're allowed to see. You're here to verify structural integrity and assist with the remote lockdown system. That's it. We'll pay triple your rate." But after this, it never happened. And then he handed me a single-use security badge with no name on it. "Don't wander. Don't touch anything unless instructed. Don't ask about the rooms. Do what you're here to do and get out." The other man opened the door to the house. I'd never been inside the place before, but I'd seen enough photos online to know it wasn't normal rich. It was elite rich. Every room was marble or gold trimmed. There were LED lights embedded in the floorboards. The place was designed like a hotel that didn't want to feel like a hotel. We passed a few staff members. Nobody said anything. No one made eye contact. They took me upstairs, past the main bedroom door. Inside, the furniture was still there, but the floor had been ripped up. The carpet was folded back like a tongue, revealing a thick iron hatch bolted into the concrete. It looked old, not ancient, just deliberate, like it was always meant to be hidden. The guy in the contractor gear handed me a flashlight and a small pulse scanner. "You'll be going down first," he said. "The initial tunnel's been cleared for air quality and stability. No weapons allowed beyond this point." I glanced at him. "Why no weapons?" He just said, "Don't bring anything you're not ready to leave behind." Then they opened the hatch. The smell hit me first, like wet dirt, metal, and something faintly organic. Mold, maybe, or blood. It wasn't overwhelming, but it wasn't right. The stairs were narrow and curved in a tight spiral. As I descended, the temperature dropped fast. 20 feet down, The spiral stopped and opened into a short hallway. The floor was raw concrete with drainage grates every 10 feet. The walls were lined with thick steel mesh, like something used in high-security research labs. At the end of the hallway, there was a thick metal door with a key code lock. The code had already been punched in. I stepped inside. The space was bigger than I expected. Low ceilings, exposed wires, concrete pillars every few yards. It reminded me of an unfinished subway station, but cleaner and too quiet. There were light strips every 10 feet. Some flickered like they hadn't been serviced in years. Others hummed unnaturally loud, like they were pulling power from somewhere unstable. That's when I saw the first sign that this wasn't just a tunnel. On the far wall, behind one of the pillars, was a keypad next to a small biometric scanner. I ran the pulse scanner along the wall nearby, and it pinged. Not once, not twice. 6 separate pulses, rooms, hidden chambers, all sealed, none of them marked. I radioed back to the surface. "You didn't say anything about secure rooms?" The voice on the other end crackled. "Don't open them, just scan. Confirm signal, report any changes." Then silence. That's when I heard the sound. Faint, like a footstep behind one of the sealed doors. Slow, deliberate. I turned back toward the exit, but the hatch was already closed, and I was locked in. I've been in vaults before, panic rooms, fallout shelters. I've inspected old missile silos, converted bunkers, but this was different. These walls weren't built to keep danger out. They were built to keep something in. I stood frozen, staring at the 6 faint pulse signals blinking on my handheld scanner. Each one was behind a wall at least a foot thick, and each one had a biometric panel, but no keypads, no labels, no room names, no handles, just steel. I backed up toward the center of the tunnel chamber, trying to reestablish signal on my comm. "This is Unit 9. Do you copy?" Nothing, just static. I waited. 1 second, 2, then 5. Click. A voice came through. But it wasn't the guy from upstairs, it was a woman, whispering. "You're early." My stomach dropped. "Who is this?" Silence then. "They never come back once they're opened." "Why did you come alone?" My hands were shaking. I checked the comm signal. Dead again. Was it interference? A relay error? A sick prank? I don't know why I did it, but I walked back to one of the doors, the third on the left. I leaned in, pressed my ear to the cold steel. No sound. Then I smelled it. Something sour, like rot, like spoiled meat mixed with perfume. A scent you only recognize if you've ever walked into a room where someone died and no one found them for days. I stepped back fast. My boot hit something. A camera. No, not a security cam. A handheld one. Old, covered in a thin layer of dust. I picked it up. Sony Handycam, late 2000s model. The power light was blinking faintly. Still charged. I pressed play. The screen was mostly black, but the audio, day 4, still no way out. The hatch doesn't respond to voice anymore. The doors are talking to each other. I hear music, low, like underwater. If anyone finds this, the 6th room is empty. That's the one they use. Tell Quincy. Tell him I tried. Then the feed cut. I stared at the playback screen until it went black. Whoever recorded that never left. And now I was standing where they had stood, breathing the same air. I checked the scanner again. The pulse behind the 6th room, the one the voice said was empty, had gone dark. No signal. The other 5, still pulsing. That's when the lights above me dimmed for the first time. Not a power loss, a flicker. As if something had crossed the hallway and triggered the sensors. Something I didn't see. I turned, slow, and that's when I noticed the cameras. Not mine, not the one I found. The ones already mounted in the tunnel. Half a dozen recessed camera domes above the light strips, almost invisible. Someone was watching, recording. And if someone was watching, they'd seen the hatch close. They knew I was down here, and they weren't sending help. I had 2 options. Wait and hoped someone reopened the hatch or tried to find another exit. I wasn't ready to die in this hallway, so I started moving. The map I was given said the tunnel had 3 main intersections. One led to the wine cellar, one connected to the pool's filtration shaft, and one, if the rumors were true, led somewhere beneath the ridge that overlooked the Playboy Mansion. I followed the second route. The hallway narrowed. Lights got further apart. The air was getting colder. I heard the dripping of water somewhere up ahead. Then, something new. A sound that didn't belong. Laughter. Not loud, not hysterical, but soft, female, and close. I rounded the corner fast. No one. Just a corridor with mirrors lining the wall. Tall, thin, antique mirrors, bolted into the concrete like they'd been moved from some old Hollywood dressing room. There was no reason for mirrors to be down here, and yet one of them was cracked, shattered at the center. I stepped closer and saw it, written across the glass in what looked like red lipstick or dried blood. "They let the sun in." I turned fast, nothing behind me, but the laughter had stopped. I looked back at the mirror. The writing was gone. I blinked, twice. Just my reflection now, staring back, wide-eyed and pale. Except my reflection wasn't breathing. I was. It wasn't. I ran. At the end of the hallway was a reinforced service door. No biometric panel this time, just a digital lock. My scanner buzzed. It recognized an emergency bypass frequency. I punched it in. Click. The door opened. Beyond it was a spiral staircase, just like the first one, but this one was descending, deeper, too far to see the bottom, and someone had carved something into the first step. 4 words. 4 words I still see when I close my eyes. Quincy never made it. The staircase groaned with each step, concrete bones shifting beneath a rotting mansion spine. I gripped the rail tightly, half expecting it to give, half afraid it might hold too long. No part of this tunnel felt abandoned. It felt paused, mid-sentence, like something was waiting for the page to turn. As I descended, I lost track of how far down I'd gone. The air got thicker, heavier. My ears popped twice. My flashlight flickered, but not from power loss, like static, like interference. Finally, the stairs ended. And I stepped into something I will never be able to describe without sounding insane. A ballroom, 5 floors beneath the surface, perfectly preserved, lit by chandeliers hanging from a ceiling too high to logically exist. Velvet curtains lined the far walls. Marble statues stood in corners, unlabeled, faceless, like mannequins frozen mid-sway. There was a grand piano at the center, polished, untouched, and surrounding it, dozens of chairs arranged in a semicircle, all facing forward, as if waiting for someone to perform. But no dust, no decay, no explanation for how this entire room, larger than most New York apartments, was built in absolute silence beneath a billionaire's mansion. I walked in slowly, my boots echoing across the tile. That's when I noticed the mirrors again, 12 of them, lining the walls in even intervals, each one tall, each one beveled at the edge, each one humming, not audibly, visibly. The glass vibrated slightly like a ripple under pressure. I stepped up to one and looked in, and for a moment, I swear, I saw someone else behind me, not my reflection. Someone taller, in a white mask, standing just beyond my shoulder. But when I turned, empty room, and the humming stopped. At the far end of the ballroom was a hallway made of stone, unlike the modern tunnel above. This part felt ancient, like it had been carved long before the mansion was built. The air was colder here, but oddly sweet, like perfume and decay again. I walked slowly, flashlight bouncing off the uneven walls. And then, paintings, lining the tunnel walls, not framed, not hung, painted directly onto the stone in dark oils. Dozens of them, maybe hundreds. Faces warped, mouths wide open, as if screaming, except there were no eyes, just smooth skin where the eyes should be. And underneath each one, a name. Not famous ones. Not yet. Christian, Quincy, Cassie, Justin, you. I stopped. The last name wasn't painted in oil. It was carved, fresh, still wet. I turned the corner and ran face first into another mirror. Only this one wasn't like the others. This one wasn't reflecting anything. It was black, like obsidian. And when I touched it, it was warm. It pulsed under my hand, and then it spoke. Not out loud, but inside my skull. They danced for him once. You will too. I staggered back. My flashlight flickered violently. Behind me, the hallway had changed. Shorter. The way I came was gone. A dead end now. The mirror pulsed again. And this time I saw it. A room behind the mirror. A hidden chamber. Inside, a throne of bleached white bones. And a man seated on it, wearing Diddy's face, but smiling with someone else's mouth. I turned and ran. I don't know how long I ran. The tunnels twisted in ways that didn't make sense. Hallways looping into themselves. Stairs leading nowhere. Doors opening into brick walls. My scanner was dead. My comm unit buzzed with static, then, Unit 9, do you copy? We're reactivating the hatch. I froze. Say your location. Repeat, say your location. I pulled myself into a crawl space and whispered, ballroom level. I think I'm under the main pool. Understood. Stay where you are. But I couldn't, because I heard it again. Footsteps, software bare, and coming from behind the mirror. Something had followed me out. And it wasn't wearing shoes. I didn't stop running until the smell changed. Gone was the sweet rot. Gone was the perfume. Now it was chlorine, pool water. I staggered down a final hallway, cracked tiles underfoot, damp air against my skin. A rusted ladder stretched upward through a narrow shaft in the concrete. At the top, a rusted metal grate. Daylight flickered through the slats like firelight. But I wasn't ready yet, because just before that ladder, just before the scent of the pool hit my face, I found something else. A room. At first I thought it was another ballroom, but no, it was too barren. The floor was polished black, no statues, no furniture, just a single raised platform at the center with a circular spotlight above. It wasn't a ballroom, it was a stage, and I had walked directly into it. The second I stepped onto the platform, the lights came on, blinding overhead rigs that buzzed into life without warning. The room was empty, but I could feel the weight of eyes on me. Then I heard it, a voice, dull, genderless, coming from nowhere and everywhere at once. Perform. I froze, my heart pounding. Who's there? I shouted. What is this? Silence, then again. Perform. It wasn't angry, it wasn't pleading, it was neutral, not demanding, not threatening, just saying it, like the choice was always mine, like it already knew what I'd do. Why? I asked. Perform. I stepped off the stage. The lights shut off instantly, total blackness swallowing everything. I backed away slowly, heart hammering in my ears, until I found the hallway again, until I found the scent of chlorine, until I found the ladder. I climbed. At the top, I pushed against the grate. It groaned and gave just enough for me to squeeze through. I emerged, gasping, into a utility shed behind what looked like a drained Olympic pool. Cracked tile, empty lounge chairs, broken towel bins. The sky above me was overcast and still, and that's when I noticed. No agents, no vehicles, no surveillance, no one. I was alone, utterly alone. There were footprints in the dirt behind me, mine, and nothing else. The mansion loomed quiet in the distance, like it was waiting for the next script to begin. But I didn't wait to figure it out. I ran. I don't remember how far or how long, but I didn't stop until I hit a road and flagged down a car that didn't belong to the estate. The driver wouldn't speak, just stared ahead, eyes sunken, hands trembling. He dropped me near an abandoned shopping plaza and drove away before I could ask a single question. They didn't call me back. No one did. Not the agency. Not the suit who handed me the badge. Not the man I reported to for 7 years on quiet ops from DC to Dubai. My work portal login was revoked 48 hours after I surfaced. The phone I used for the job wiped itself when I tried to charge it. The badge, demagnetized, useless. My bank account showed a deposit from a holding firm based in Liechtenstein. No name, no note. And then the email came from a proxy server, no reply option. The contract has been fulfilled. You are reminded of Clause 7. Non-disclosure is lifetime enforceable. Breach of terms results in nullification of protections. Attached was a scanned image of the NDA I signed, my signature circled in red, but that wasn't what made my chest tighten. It was the second attachment, a photo of me, standing under the spotlight on the stage, looking straight ahead, arms slightly raised, smiling. The voice, flat, toneless. Perform. Sometimes when I walk by a mirror, I see my own lips moving before I do. Sometimes when I fall asleep, I hear the lights buzzing to life. And in my dreams, I'm always back on that platform, not dancing, just waiting. And the room never claps, and the voice never stops. Perform. I tried to send the footage out, what little I'd saved on my own personal body cam tucked under my jacket. It had booted once after I escaped. The files were corrupted, but the audio was intact. I sent it to 5 journalists, all underground, 1 in France, 1 in the Netherlands, 3 in the US. Within a week, 2 went dark. Websites deleted, social accounts wiped. 1 reached out, a woman. She told me what she heard. The file isn't audio, not entirely. There's a tone buried in it, ultra low frequency. My sound engineer had a seizure trying to isolate it. She paused, and we heard music. It didn't play on the waveform, but we all heard it, like a song played underwater, just under your skull. I asked her to send the version back. She refused. She said she deleted it after that night, said she couldn't risk hearing it again, said she saw her reflection smiling at her in the monitor while she listened, and that it didn't stop until she unplugged everything. Last week, I saw something that broke me. On a forum I used to monitor, buried in a deep thread about the raids and the lawsuits, someone posted a grainy still from a leaked surveillance video, supposedly from the raid. The caption said, "From the underground ballroom." March 2024. Diddy's private party, unlisted. And there I was, standing behind the piano, wearing my work clothes, looking directly at the camera, smiling. I don't remember smiling. I don't remember ever being filmed from that angle. I never heard back from the woman again. That thread, deleted within an hour. I've moved twice since then. I don't tell anyone my name. I stopped using banks. I sleep in shifts. But the music still finds me. That underwater rhythm, that ballroom echo, and sometimes, just as I'm about to fall asleep, I hear the latch of the 6th door click open behind my mind. I don't know what's real anymore, but I know what I saw. I know that tunnel exists. I know what lives inside it. And I know the people guarding it aren't guarding it for justice. They're guarding it for him, for them. So if you're hearing this, if this story ever leaks out in full, don't go looking for the tunnel. Don't try to find the ballroom, because the ones who went in before me, they're still performing. And the door remembers your name.